Remember, we made an arrangement when you went away. Now, you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. Hello, my name is Siobhan and she is the cheese.
And my name's Becca and she's the jam.
Welcome to episode 1 of the podcast where we show each other something that one of us knows and loves and the other one is completely unfamiliar with.
Amen. This week I will be showing Siobhan Hamilton.
Which I know nothing about, so I'm going to give a little description that Becca has pre-written for me. Hamilton, an American musical, is a biographical musical based on the life and antics of American founding father Alexander Hamilton. The music, book and lyrics were written by Lin-Manuel Miranda and based on the Alexander Hamilton biography by Ron Chernow.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. It's been running on Broadway since 2015 in the Richard Rodgers Theatre and continues to be played to packed houses 10 years later.
Yes.
The story follows Alexander Hamilton and other founding fathers, such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and the narrator and anti-hero of the show, Madison Burr. Madison Burr?
Madison Burr?
Where did I get Madison from? Because it's on the line above. James
okay.
Madison and narrator Aaron Burr. Okay.
Aaron Burr.
We're leaving all of that in, I don't care. It's set between 1776 and 1804 and chronicles key events in Hamilton's life.
That's correct. I had to write this very carefully because it's very easy to put spoilers in this. Like the Wikipedia synopsis has a spoiler in it, but if you could let us know exactly how much you know about Hamilton.
Somebody dies.
Somebody does die. That's
See,
correct.
I have managed to completely not know anything. Like I have...
Disengaged.
I'm disengaged mainly because I just don't really have much interest in it. It's just not something that I've ever cared to watch. Like I'm not interested in American history.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And,
the
like,
current state of things is a bit, so sometimes it's a bit, like, not my main point of interest.
Yeah. And also, like, I mean, I was very, very much like a musical theatre kid.
Yeah.
And that's a medium that I care very much about and enjoy a lot. And I think, like, it's not that you don't enjoy it, but you don't seek them out. And you didn't, like, you never went through, like, a big, I love musicals, it's all I listen to phase.
No, definitely not. I think I do like musicals. Sometimes people are surprised that I don't know the songs from Hamilton. Like, I would probably have never even listened to one entire song all the way through from Hamilton.
Yeah.
I don't know the plot. Like, I know the names of some characters, but I know the names of 2 songs, but I don't know the songs themselves. So...
What 2 songs do you know the names of?
I can't remember now that you've asked me. Not giving away my shot. Oh, and the room where it happens.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I know that there's a character called Angelica and one called Eliza, and you just told me all the other ones in the description.
I told you some other ones. There's a lot that I've left out.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the actors that I know were in the original Broadway in TV shows, because I love TV shows. So
That's a good introduction to us, actually. You love TV shows.
I do. I love TV
musicals.
shows. So yeah, I think why do you like Hamilton? Like, what got you into it?
I think that I probably got into it through the animatics on YouTube, and I was never really on Tumblr, but I was kind of into the whole, like, fandom
Yeah.
of it. It's just started raining outside, by the way, so enjoy some...
Bit of Atmos.
Yeah, enjoy the extra ambience that we've got going on.
So I believe you've seen Hamilton in person, right? Because it's done worldwide shows and tours.
Yes, so I have seen it twice with 2 different Sydney casts.
Uh-huh.
So I saw it just earlier this year, and then I saw it at the start of 2022.
Okay.
So I've seen it in person twice, and I've listened to the cast album more times than I can count on my hands, you know.
Yeah.
All the way through. If you like, instead of watching it, I could just recite the whole thing for you.
Yes, please. That would be much more entertaining.
It's a lot. It's preferable.
Shall we get going?
Well, I guess before we do that, is that, like, what are you anticipating?
I'm anticipating that I will start off not liking it, but by the end I will have been sucked into the narrative, I feel like.
So I guess we'll go have a watch and we'll get back to you guys soon.
Thoughts on Hamilton coming right up.
We are now at intermission.
Intermission.
So it is. Where we thought we'd take a break and do our thoughts up to here, up till here.
Up to this moment. Yes, can I do my thoughts rapid fire so I don't forget them?
Yes.
Okay, so first off, I think I like the way that the set, they use different lighting techniques to do different parts of the set so that it feels like different spaces, but I feel like it's not really pulling it off because there's so much of the set. It's really huge.
Yeah.
And there's very few times where the whole thing is lit. And so I think they're using different lighting techniques to make it feel like different locations, which is a good idea, but I feel like a lot of the time it just feels like every scene in the musical is happening in the same place, which I don't love. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep monologuing what my thoughts are and then we can
Okay.
just because otherwise I'm completely going to forget.
That's fine, go for it.
So what I really strongly don't like about it is the fact that they just, so much of it is happening off stage. So much of it is just narrating something that has happened in the past or something that is about to happen, or like it's as though the story is happening somewhere else and we're just getting a rundown of what has just happened to the characters and we're not seeing what is currently happening to the characters. And I think
it's how I felt about this, not how I feel about this.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the time, because it is set over several years, it feels a little bit disjointed because it's like something is happening and then the next scene is happening, but it has no sense of cause and effect. It's kind of just this historical event is happening. Oh, my wife is pregnant. Oh, this other historical event is happening. And there's no real like through line is what I feel like, which is sort of bothering me. I think that's why I'm less entertained than I would be, because I can tell that it's really well made and I love, like, I think the music is excellent. I'm really enjoying some of the energy of the songs, and like I like how once in a while they will bring in a lot of different lighting elements. And there was the song where Angelica was singing about her feelings for Alexander Hamilton, and that was amazing. That was a really good, like, I love the way that they brought in slightly more techno kind of backing track.
They had some kind of like some DJ kind of sounds.
Yeah, and they had that in one of the songs where Lafayette, is that his name?
Yes.
Was singing as well, and he was amazing.
Guns and Ships, yeah.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. So those two I really enjoyed because they had some projections, some lights, a little bit more like
just having more fun with it.
Yeah, like a lot more intense technical elements, which I feel like is more engaging than just the like narration kind of stuff that I haven't been enjoying.
And the stage itself is very plain. And I think it's, because it goes through so many different settings and so many different places, I don't know how you do it with like actual backdrops.
Yeah, I think it's too grand in scale because so much of it is just happening off stage. It's like, you've been fighting in this manner. Well, it's like, how do I know? Because you've told me, not because I've been seeing the way in which this character has been fighting. Yeah. I think the king is very entertaining. He is entertaining.
And it's Jonathan Groff. How can you hate Jonathan Groff?
No, yeah.
There was
and Angelica as well, I love.
Yes.
Very talented.
I'll comment on a few things that you've just said. So, first of all, I think that Act 1 is a lot more disjointed than Act 2 is. I think that you'll like Act 2 more because it does kind of follow one major through line and everything kind of, it's very cause and effect the whole way, versus like I really don't like, I guess not really don't like, but I skip a lot of this. I skip a lot more of the songs that are in Act 1. Like, it's so weird having Battle of Yorktown followed by King George singing What Comes Next, and then Dear Theodosia, which is the one where they're singing to their kids. It's just kind of like, it kind of goes from this really high energy point, and it kind of, I'm like, I get that we need to see Burr and Hamilton's like paternal instincts and everything, but this kind of doesn't show up until like you'll see in Act 2 their kids are kind of, well, Hamilton's kid is kind of in it, and that's kind of important. And I know that song is like a favorite of Lin-Manuel Miranda's, but I'm kind of watching it and I'm like, I actually don't really feel like this fits in here. And I don't like either of the Story of Tonight songs, which are the ones where it's just the four, it's the four guys. I always find those kind of a bit boring, and it's just a little bit like, yay Revolution, yay us.
Yeah.
And it's got some of the like legacy themes in it, but I kind of find those songs a little bit drab. Yeah,
it's not like I was saying beforehand, I think the fact that this is not a subject matter that is of interest to me has definitely dampened my enjoyment of it a little bit. Because, like you said, with the four guys singing The Four of Us, blah, 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 I think that does feel very like, yay, America, which is, again, it's not something that I'm interested in hearing, you know?
Yay, America.
Yeah, no thanks.
Not right now.
Yeah, so Ariana DeBose did not know she was in this, and she's an extremely talented dancer.
We'll probably talk about her more at the end, but she is more than just a backup dancer.
Yeah, okay.
She's got
more
Yeah.
characterization. Okay. Because she's super talented, and I know that she's a much bigger star than probably any of the other ensemble actors these days, right? From the original cast?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say, I mean, yeah, none of them have won Oscars.
Yeah. I really enjoyed all the songs that were about, like, their romance and about the people themselves rather than about the battles that we're seeing off screen, like, off screen, off stage. But
I mean, we're watching it on a screen.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, I think I would just prefer it to be smaller scale, more intimate, and I think that's why I'm kind of focusing on what I care about Aaron Burr's character. Like, I want to see more of his character,
You'll get that. He's like, I think it's more his story than it is Hamilton's. I think a lot of people that are familiar with it would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, his plotline is the one that I definitely care the most about.
Yeah.
And it's usually, like, I don't know, the two times I've seen it, the Burrs were different, but they were both so good. And, like, I love Leslie Odom Jr. And he's such a good singer. And he's just, like, very clearly very passionate about the role he's playing.
Yeah.
I love Aaron Burr. He's great.
Honestly, all that said, I was finding it quite dull. Like, there were times where I was genuinely bored throughout the first act. So hopefully the second act's better. Should we move along?
Let's go watch it.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So we're back after
the entire thing.
We have watched Hamilton.
I've now seen Hamilton.
Yes. So I guess first off, what are your, like, initial big takeaways of things that you did like or didn't like, or just anything that you feel like is of note?
I think I honestly just reached a point where there was about 45 minutes left and we're already at least half an hour into the second half, where I think I sort of clocked out a little bit and stopped thinking critically about it and started being like, hey, look, their tights are so tight. Why is she walking like that? Like,
I mean, that's critical. That's critical.
Yeah, there was kind of just a moment where I was like just pointing out physical attributes rather than, like, which is kind of the same thing, but
I mean, listen, it's a visual medium.
Yeah. I think I did like the second half more than I liked the first half, but I think it is just so freaking long.
Yeah.
And I was quite emotionally touched by, like, the stuff with the son dying and, like, spoilers, but like, I think even for a non-sympathetic character like Hamilton, you still feel sorry for him, because I think losing a child is one of the hardest things someone can go through.
I think he's sympathetic. I just don't personally sympathize with him very much.
Well, yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
But, like, you're meant to sympathize with him when he has to out himself for cheating on his wife. And you're definitely meant to sympathize with him when Philip dies.
Yeah.
And you're meant to like, I think he's meant to be sympathetic, but I think Aaron Burr is a lot more sympathetic.
Yeah. I think, honestly,
like, Hamilton kind of does get what he wants in a lot of, like, his ambition is successful.
Yes.
And Aaron Burr's isn't.
I think it was an interesting kind of circular moment where he talks on and on and on about not throwing his shot, and then he quite literally tells his son to throw away his shot, and he ends up dying for it.
Yeah.
Which is just,
Well, he does say, like, oh no, he doesn't. No, because when he's saying don't throw away your shot at life, but he is saying to physically throw away his literal physical gunshot. Yes, and then he does.
And he does, and he dies. Yeah, both times for his son and himself.
Yeah. I think the second act is a lot of getting pissed off at Hamilton for just being such a fucking dickhead. Like, sorry, were we swearing in this?
No, it's fine.
Excellent. Like, great, you cheat on your wife after, like, not going away with her, and then fully out yourself. You don't even talk to her. You just publish. Yeah. You just publish this, like, pamphlet about it and that's how she finds out. And then she's like, "Oh my god, it's
wild,
dude." And then you basically send her son and your son to his death by, like, giving him your guns and telling him how to duel. And, like, just, endorsing that he's doing that. Yeah. Because the whole dueling thing is so, like, you just want to knock some sense into them.
Yeah.
Which I was
Punched him
gonna
in the nose.
I was gonna mention something. I just wrote a couple of points down at the end.
Yeah.
That I think some of the like lasting meaning that it has is like, you know, showing what happens when people can't settle their differences, and the fact that honestly the stuff that Hamilton and Burr, like the differences that they had were pretty petty. And it's like, well, like if you can't talk through things and settle your differences, even if you radically don't agree with someone, then you know, like people end up getting shot. People's whole legacies end up being that they shot someone, you know.
And there are all these lasting impacts as well from the, like, I think they showed really nicely at the end the way that Hamilton and Burr were both just in it to have a certain reputation. They were both, not purely, that's not their only motivation. They obviously want to create a better world, but there was a huge part of it for both characters where it was literally just about the way that people view them and the way that they...
The legacy
that they're leaving.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are creating a country and creating a democracy based on something so petty, I think it's interesting to think about the lasting impacts of that kind of thing as well.
Yeah. And, you know,
yeah,
poignant, perhaps.
Yeah, which, like, I don't think that's necessarily the point that they were trying to get across.
No, but it is something that
substance. You notice that, like, like, Burr's performance towards the end was so good. Like, you could just see the, like, manic in his eyes. Like,
he's like getting a little
crazy he was going about,
he's like
really... I need you to like me, to all these soldiers that were like lining up in a line, and he's like weaving around them going,
he's like when he's campaigning, he's so like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. And the disappointment that like you can see come over Leslie Odom Jr.'s face when Jefferson gets the endorsement is like, oh, you feel so bad for him. Oh, he's gonna snap. And then he fully does.
It was excellent acting. I really appreciated Aaron Burr as a character. Although I was so weirded out by the fact that Madison is on stage for so much of the musical, and yet we know nothing about him. Do Americans know more about him just from their history lessons and stuff?
Yes.
And then so you just like, it doesn't matter that we don't know because they know? Like the audience is assumed to know.
I think so. I think maybe like for American audiences, it might have been weird if he hadn't been in it, because I think he did. I mean, I don't actually know a lot about him, but I think that he did. Obviously, I mean, this goes without saying that he would have contributed more than we saw.
Yeah.
Because it's not about him.
No.
And he's very much a side character. So maybe it would have been weird if he hadn't been there, just because maybe he's so crucial to that part in American history.
Because for me, it's weird that... I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. I'm saying he should be there, but we get to know more about him.
I think he's a bit funny. I think like he's a bit of comic relief, you know, like he's like sick all the time and people are pointing that out. And then after It's Quiet Uptown, when they get back to the election of 1800, he's like crying from the previous number, which he wasn't present for.
Yeah.
It's just like a bit to be like, hey, we know the last song was sad, but we do have to keep the story moving on.
Yeah, I didn't notice that actually.
like he's a bit fun.
Yeah.
He's a bit fun to have. But he doesn't really serve much of a purpose.
No. And yeah, because I guess Americans probably know more about him than I do as a person.
I hadn't thought about that before. I just knew he was a minor character, but I hadn't really considered why.
Also, I did notice that I don't know how accurate the dresses are because I don't know too much about fashion, but I did notice that they changed their dresses to be more Regency dresses rather than 1700s dresses, which was nice. That they kept up to times with the, like, it now being the 1800s and everything.
And, like, characters, like, wear black, like, after Philip dies. Like, Angelica... I'm going to say Philippa, but Angelica, Eliza, and Hamilton are all like in black.
She is so talented. Philippa Sue.
Philippa Sue. She's so good.
She makes it look so easy.
It's like, listen, music to some musicians is just like breathing. You look at them and they're like, that is the most effortless thing I've ever seen. Yeah. That's wild.
What's the name of that song that Cynthia Erivo sung at the Oscars once? The... Stand up, take my people with me.
I actually don't know the name of it.
I don't know the name of the song. That's so bad.
That's one.
But she makes it look so easy, and I think those two women they're like, it's like breathing to them. I think
it's wild. Which is just beautiful to see. Yeah. Because like Burn, which is the solo that she gets at the end where she's like setting the letters on fire. Yeah. Is a song that I think if you were a lesser singer, you probably. That song really relies on having a good vocalist.
It does, because it relies on the quiet emotion of it. And I think if you were someone who was straining your voice more, it would seem... Because it's like this quiet anger and this quiet, like, sadness. It's a little bit like,
we haven't... Have you seen much of Les Mis?
I've seen the film with you.
You've seen yes, we have watched it together. Because one of the... There's... the Hugh Jackman butchers it in the film. But when... Jean Valjean sings Bring Him Home, that's a very like quiet, like prayer to God kind of moment where he's just by himself.
And so you're supposed to have a good vocal.
Yeah. Hugh Jackman is not, in my opinion. But it's one of those kind of moments where it's just, there's so much emotion, but it's just like that one person. And they're just carrying the whole thing. And it's just really...
And Hathaway does do that in Les Mis. She carries a song with emotion.
Yeah, she doesn't sing it especially well in the movie.
That's going up on TikTok at the moment,
She can sing it well. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Nice.
People
It's a
have been
great
doing
song.
that one on TikTok lately.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is I Dreamed a Dream.
Yeah.
It's a excellent song. And Hathaway can sing it well. She doesn't in the movie because she's like sitting,
crying.
She's crying, which isn't good, and she's like kind of sitting down. She's like kind of weirdly positioned. And the take that they used was after she'd been singing for like 4 or 5 hours straight. Yeah, Tom Hooper, real genius, that man. Thank you.
Enough about Les Mis.
No, never. But there are a lot, because there are a lot of similarities between Hamilton and Les Mis, because they're both about
revolutions.
About historical revolutions, and they have a lot of similarities with how the music is used. Like bits of music that come up at one point will come up at another point.
Yeah,
there's a lot of leitmotifs.
Yeah.
That just through lines in the music that are important.
Which is probably something that people who know a bit more about music than me would notice a bit more, because I was sort of...
Well, the thing
I
is
noticed a bit.
I think it's even a subconscious thing. If it's something that you're not actively clocking, you're still hearing bits that came up at earlier moments, and that's what... And they want you to be thinking about that earlier moment. So even if it's not something you're consciously clocking, you're probably a little bit like being like, oh, this reminds me of that other point in the show.
That's a good point.
Just even for people that don't know that that's what's going on. Can't turn away from the microphone if this is a podcast.
Yeah. I reckon that's probably all I had to think about. Should we give it a rating, or is this not that kind of show?
I say we can give it a rating.
Yeah.
We can give it a rating. Well, I guess...
We don't have to agree, because obviously you like it and I've never seen it.
I have maybe been a tad overexposed to it now. Like, I don't...
think that's the problem. I think that there's a big thing of that, actually, where people just are like, wow, because they've heard about it so much.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's hype with it, and it's the popular consensus is that this thing is good, so you better like it when you watch it.
Yeah.
But it's almost kind of hard for me to talk about it now, because I have seen it a few times and I've heard it so many times, and I've been really ingrained. I was really ingrained in the fandom.
Okay, I think I give Hamilton 3.5 out of 5.
Oh.
Because I didn't love it. I found it a little bit dull.
So it's something that you don't think that you would have gone off and found on your own?
I think if I had
or
started watching this on my own, I would have turned it off after 20 minutes.
Yeah, I probably would have done the same now. Like, watching it, I was getting a little bit like, I've seen this and heard this so many times, I don't need to again. And Lin-Manuel Miranda is just not a compelling singer. No. And I don't think he's an especially compelling actor. So just looking at his face for so long, not pleasant. But I would rate Hamilton... I'm going to give Hamilton a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So only slightly higher than yours, just because I think I'm not super keen on God Bless America.
Yeah.
I think I used to be a lot more keen on not more keen, but I used to be more intrigued by that.
You'd have less qualms about it.
Yeah. And now I'm kind of like, I don't really need to hear about them again. I'm kind of happy living in my little Aussie bubble for the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're going to sign off.
Yep.
Thanks.
And next week, tune in next week, where Jam is going to show Cheese, one of the greatest films ever made, Spice World.
Oh, I can't wait.
Neither can I.
See you next week,
See you
babes.
next week.
Bye.